Breaking news, Washington fans. Wide receiver Chris Moore and center Michael Deiter have been elevated off the practice squad. We're going to break down those moves and how they affect the team, what it means for tomorrow, and what do I think of these moves. Before we do that, make sure you guys hit the like button on the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Get me to 3,000 subscribers. Hit the notification bell as well. So, yeah, as I said, Commanders elevated wide receiver Chris Moore off the practice squad. And am I a fan of this move? No, heck no. I do not like Chris Moore. You had another guy in Ja'Corey Brooks sitting there on the practice squad, and you decide to elevate Chris Moore. I don't know what this means for Noah Brown. You know, you got to wonder about Noah Brown's knee. Why are they bringing another wide receiver onto the active roster? What does this mean for Noah Brown? Is his knee okay? Dan Quinn said yesterday that, you know, Noah Brown and Jonathan Jones, the guys that were on the injury report, are full go. But is he okay? Is Noah Brown okay? This doesn't look good for Nick Allegretti as well. I think Allegretti's getting the start at guard, so that means they have to have another backup center to back up Tyler Biadasz if something would happen to him. So that's why they're going to bring Michael Deiter on the practice squad. So this means Allegretti's probably getting the start at guard. I think we probably have an injury at wide receiver. I think that's what the Chris Moore signing means, or Chris Moore elevation means. Now I would go with Ja'Corey Brooks, but that's nor here nor there. Either one, if you bring up Ja'Corey Brooks or Chris Moore, they're not going to get a lot of run unless somebody's, injured and you got to put him in the game. But listen, I would not have chose Chris Moore. His drop problem is, he dropped the ball a lot in the preseason, but again, he's not going to get any run tomorrow. I just wanted to give you this update. I think it's interesting. Should we worry about Noah Brown's knee? Is Noah Brown's knee a problem? Okay. I think that's the biggest concern here. Noah Brown has been known to not be reliable. This whole offseason, Noah Brown got hurt in mandatory minicamp, but he was getting reps in training camp, early on in training camp, doing stuff every day. And then randomly at a joint practice, he was on the injury list, and he's been on the injury list ever since. He came back to practice the other day, but did he acquire a new injury after the mandatory minicamp injury is what my question is. That's my question right now. So you have to wonder about Noah Brown's knee injury. I don't know. I would keep, I would have thought they would just kept 5 wide receivers on the roster. You don't need to waste a roster spot on another wide receiver who's not going to get run, but this tells me they have concern about Noah Brown maybe not being able to be full go tomorrow. And again, I already told you the Michael Deiter elevation, that probably means that Allegretti's getting the start at guard because Allegretti is kind of the backup center / guard. He can really play anywhere. So Allegretti, if something would happen to Tyler Biadasz, he would just come in and play center, but since he's starting at guard, you need him at guard. So you're going to bring up another center, Michael Deiter. That's what that tells me. Would I have chose Michael Deiter? I don't necessarily care, but I don't like Michael Deiter. You guys know that. Thank you for making me right, Jaden. Remember that in the Commander's log? That was just embarrassing. And he really looked bad last year when Tyler Biadasz was gone. Deiter looked terrible. But that's nor here nor there. Again, he's probably not going to get run. I don't want to jinx anything, but we don't believe Tyler Biadasz is getting hurt. Okay, if he is, we're cooked anyway. So, but back to the wide receiver position, Chris Moore. I'm not necessarily understanding this. Again, I would have chose Ja'Corey Brooks, but the bigger concern here is Noah Brown. They love Chris Moore. They love that dude. I mean, they have shown him, they signed him back to the practice squad after what he did in the preseason. I mean, it's crazy. So this tells me that also maybe Bill's going to be inactive because they already had 53 players. So is someone else is going to be inactive tomorrow to allow them to keep 53 men on the roster before the game. So I mean, I guess you should look at C-Rod or Bill may be inactive tomorrow. Probably not C-Rod, but listen, again, none of these guys are going to get play. The biggest concern is Noah Brown's injury. Is Noah Brown hurt? He's the only other guy, aside from Terry McLaurin on this roster, that can really stretch the field. That can go down and catch the ball on people's head, right? And he's a big body. He's compared to our wide receiver room, he looks like a tight end. Okay, he's a big body. We need him. So he's been known to not be reliable in his career. He's never made it through a full NFL season. So with that said, I think they should have just signed Kendrick Bourne, brought him on the roster, and you'd never have to worry about this. But instead, they don't have a sixth guy. They're going to bring on Chris Moore and see what he's got. He didn't have a good preseason at all. He dropped like every pass. He really did not do good at all. And they signed him back to the practice squad. And this is what you're on the practice squad for. You wait until your name gets called. And Chris Moore, frankly, he didn't have to wait. He's called week 1. So, I guess sometimes these guys don't end up like even being on the 53-man roster tomorrow. But listen, this is interesting. Michael Dieter, trash. Chris Moore, trash. Again, the biggest concern here is not any of those two guys, but it's Noah Brown. Is his knee okay? Is he fine? Is he still going to be full go tomorrow? That is my question. But I think he's fine. I mean, Dan Quinn told us the other day he's fine. Dan Quinn said that Noah Brown is full go. So I'm going to have to assume that he's fine. But I think next week, like Kendrick Bourne said, he's going to wait to see what both teams look like, the 49ers and the Commanders over the weekend. He said he's going to wait past week 1. I think next week you have to go sign Kendrick Bourne. If this is going to be a concern, if this is going to be a concern about Noah Brown and you're going to have to worry about the practice squad guys, I think you should just go ahead and sign Kendrick Bourne. Again, most teams generally carry 6 wide receivers anyway, so it's not like you're wasting a roster spot. You could say, bye, Ali Cajo. You were on the roster for, a few weeks, and you're done. Okay, you could say that. So, I think they should do one of those moves, and I think you should just sign Kendrick Bourne if you're going to worry about the wide receiver position. If you're not, then, yeah, I mean, why would you waste money on him, But we'll see what ends up happening here. Just wanted to give you the news. Chris Moore, Michael Dieter, elevated from the practice squad. I don't necessarily know what this means. Could this be another guy? Could this lead to being another guy inactive tomorrow? I don't know. But this is certainly, it should alert you, right? I don't think Chris Moore and Michael Dieter will get any run tomorrow, but, we'll see. If he does and he does something wrong, boy, am I going to be mad. I would have gone with Ja'Cory Brooks anyway. Even if you don't want to sign Kendrick Bourne, like you can just bring up Ja'Cory Brooks whenever you need him, because I think he's pretty reliable. He's a bigger guy. I'd just go with him. If you're down to your 6th wide receiver, you're already cooked anyway. But yeah, Noah Brown, I just hope he's okay at this point. I just hope Noah Brown's okay and that he's going to be here for the full season. Again, we can't rely on him being here for a full season. He never has in his career, but what does this mean for the team? What does this mean for the team? That's my biggest concern. I think that's what people are talking about now. Noah Brown, is he going to be here? Is he going to be full go on Sunday? His injuries have certainly been, caused the team a lot of trouble. So I just love to see Noah Brown prosper and be here. But Chris Moore, Michael Dieter, elevated from the practice squad. Those are words I never, ever wanted to say, but who cares? Those guys are getting absolutely no run tomorrow unless there's a major injury or major injuries. You may see Chris Moore on kick return. I don't know. Maybe something like that, because he does play special teams a little bit. But that's all I got for right now. Hail to the Washington Commanders as always. Tomorrow opens the season. Here we go, man. I'm so excited. I'll be at the game. I will come with a post game after the game. Stay tuned for that. That's going to do it for me. I won't see you until after the game. And peace.